Welcome to Get Real with me, Dr. Friedemann. If you want to live with greater purpose, authenticity, and empowerment, this is your time to upgrade your belief systems, unlock your true potential, and discover the endless possibilities of you becoming the creator of your life. For thousands of years, the great sages told us that all the resources we need to have a happy, fulfilling life, and all the answers that are required to navigate through this existence are all inside of us. Well, the big question is, how do we access these resources and these answers? Well, to give us a hint, today our guest will share with us the groundbreaking work of the human energy vehicle that he has developed. I'm talking about Jonathan Goldman, who is the founder of the Essential Light Institute, who has been an acupuncturist and an energy healer for 40 years. And after some really transformational time in the Brazilian rainforest, he brought in a new way of understanding the mind, body, and energy system that allowed him to develop a technique that goes way beyond what he used to do as an acupuncturist, way beyond psychology or any kind of allopathic medicine. It's really interesting stuff. So I'm so happy to bring on Jonathan to this time on Get Real. Hi, Jonathan. It's so nice to meet you. Thank you so much for taking the time to be on Get Real.
It's my total honor. I'm really happy to be with you.
Well, Jonathan, when I read your bio, I have to say there was a lot of interesting movie-worthy stuff that I read. And I thought, well, maybe one day somebody gonna make a movie out of your life. But one of the things that I found, the most fascinating, of course, was that time in Brazil. Now, I know there is a lot to talk about, but you came from acupuncture and then somehow ventured off, I think feeling probably guided to go to the Amazon. What happened there for you?
What happened there, to make it brief, was, I went because I felt to go. And my impulse in doing acupuncture, besides that I want to help people, I always wanted to do new things. I always wanted to like, I had a prayer when I was 8 years old, don't let me be bored. So I was always looking and available to new things. And it's a long story, but I went to the middle of the Amazon in September 1989, accompanying a friend of mine who had been my therapist, was my mentor, who had had pancreatic cancer completely cured through this particular spiritual healing work that is still centered in the middle of the Amazon forest. So I went with him and found my own inner self, found a spiritual path 6,000 miles away from my house. So I'm a 6'3" American middle-class male. I found myself surrounded by 5'3" brown Amazonian native people speaking a language that I didn't understand. And somehow I knew intuitively, like, wow, this is for me. I'm in love. So the other thing I discovered, I've been an acupuncturist for 12 years, is that I had an inherent inbuilt healing channel, a spiritual healing channel that had been latent, but also being worked by seeing 60 clients a week and doing acupuncture, assiduously. And my vision opened, my intuition opened, and I started being in contact with energies and consciousnesses beyond my own that then trained me, and including showed me what I call the energy vehicle, the human energy vehicle. Other people call it the aura, the etheric double, and showed me the details of this incredible, what I came to call the gift of the body, right? Which is what I call my book. the incredible intricacy and details and the location of all these qualities that I just considered me. You know, where is my identity? Where is my identity? Well, it's not in my brain. It happens to be in the mental body of the third chakra, you know? And I began to be, but step by step, this was not a download, like this was 12 years of step by step working with clients and discovering and then checking it out with myself and other people and then students, the location of these various qualities that make up a me, make up a you, make up a human being. And literally, where are they located in the aura, in the chakras? So then I came to call it the chakra map.
And that multi-layered human energy vehicle is kind of the basis of your teaching, of your transformational healing work, right?
Exactly.
And how would you describe it just for the lay person?
Okay, so point one, you are way more than you have thought you are.
Oh, I believe
right?
that.
Right? You, me, all of us. Because we live in a culture, all of us, right? Especially we live in what's called the northern cultures, right? That where we're trained to narrow our vision to the physical material level, not just in terms of our bodies, but in terms of everything. But when we actually expand our awareness, and what I teach people is like, just we go inside ourselves and start feeling, where does your aura go? So my right now, because I'm with you and I feel good and I'm happy, my aura is like this. If I'm on the subway in Boston where I used to live, my aura was like this because I don't want to, want to touch people. So in that, then that egg, right? When he was 5 years old, my son looked at me, he goes, "Oh, Dad, I see we're eggs with legs," right? And that egg has layers of density, the most dense being this physical body, actually the most dense being the bones and what's inside. And then gradually more refined vibrational layers until the edge of the aura. Those are then, each one of those layers that I described is then bisected by a chakra. The chakras emanate from the center of the body, from a core, a vibrating core of energy that goes from the earth straight up. And from that, both front and back emanate these, what are called chakras. I use the word because that's how the ancient used it. They are energy centers, concentration of energy, each one having a particular sub-job in the totality of making a human being, being able to be a human being, right? Go from the bottom to the top. There are 7 main ones. People describe 12, blah, blah, blah. I actually talk about 9, but there's 7 main ones. Each one of those, so for instance, the chakra that guides life on earth, mundane, like doing your job, setting up this video, doing your work, is the third chakra. Its job is to do life, to make you be able to enter into contact with the world that you've come into and be able to work with it. So contained in that is personal will, the ability to do, to decide, to go. Also contained in that is your identity, who Jonathan is in this life, right? I tell students, okay, so put your name and then put is, and then put ... The ... is Jonathan is this, and this. That literally lives in the mental body, which is in front about this far of my third chakra. When I go through what's called the midlife crisis, that starts to morph. It starts to change naturally. My identity, who I thought I was. And people will say this, I don't know who I am anymore. Well, you're not supposed to know who you are anymore, because naturally you are moving your orientation to how you're going to live your life. Through where? through which chakra you will live your life is naturally moving, being pulled from your third chakra to your fourth chakra in your 40s, in your 50s. The 30s are about manifestation. I'm doing my job. I'm making my profession. I'm, for many people, I'm raising a family. I'm blah, 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 blah. Then, okay, so what? So what is, I'm being pulled naturally to my third chakra, my fourth chakra. That chakra then contains the transpersonal vibrations, the vibrations of unity, the vibrations of compassion, the vibration of faith, the vibration of forgiveness, the vibration of self-love. All of these have their discrete place in that chakra of the heart.
Now, chakra work is not new to you because you have probably studied it before, and others, as you said, the ancients have been exploring this for a long time. But your system uses this map of the chakra in a unique way. There's something different about this human energy vehicle than just quotation marks, the chakra system. So what is the difference? How did this, what you brought in, expand the vision and the understanding of chakras?
Well, because, okay, so here's how we work. Someone has a symptom. I'll tell you how this developed. A woman was lying on, after I came back from Brazil, right? I had been doing acupuncture. All of a sudden I'm doing other weird things. My hands are hot and I'm putting them on people and they get up and they say they're better, things like that, One of the things that started happening was, and I call it the puppet phase. The puppet phase was somebody would grab my hand and hold it over a person's body like this, and I would stay there. And at that time, I didn't feel anything. Now I feel energy and whatever. And then I'm just like there, and I'm like, okay, sort of looking at my watch, and boom, then my hand would fall, and my other hand would go. So one day I'm holding it over this woman's solar plexus, 1.5 feet above. And I'm just holding it there. And all of a sudden the thought pops in my head, I don't know who I am anymore. And I thought, well, that doesn't happen to be true for me at this particular discrete moment of my life. So I wonder if it's coming from her. So I said to her, look, this is weird, but let me tell you what I heard. And I said, I don't know who I am anymore. She starts crying. Oh my God, that's exactly what's happening. My life is falling apart. My life is... I was like, oh, okay. And I wrote it down. So the unique thing is then, and this woman was having symptoms in her digestive system, also in her female organs. The uniqueness is, instead of then addressing those symptoms, what we do is, let's address that place in the aura, in the third chakra, that is changing, and let's give it light. So what I teach is, we're not fixing anything. We're trying to help happen what is already happening. So this woman's life was changing. Her identity was changing. She was moving. So rather than trying to patch it up and give her, and of course, she can take herbs, she can do all kinds of things to help her digestion. But let's go to the energetic origin of that symptom and give and work with that, which will then reverberate downward from the mental body to the emotional body to the etheric body to the physical body, and free up her energy system, creating then harmony, which is the same theory as acupuncture or any natural medicine. Right. So that's what we do. And so the uniqueness is, when we can identify the origin point of the disturbance, we can then specifically focus on that and help the person understand. So I could also help her understand. Your life is changing. You're changing. That's good. Don't fight it. Go with it. See? So it's both. It's not only helping the energetic system, it's also helping the person be empowered to become their own healer.
So do you have to see or sense the energy disturbance, or is it based on the map of, okay, that's what's up for me, these are the physical symptoms, so that must be in the third, second, first chakra?
Both. In other words, I'm glad you asked the question, because learning the map gives you a mean time, like, okay, so for me, I didn't see for a long time. It's a story. My eyes, my vision was way behind my feeling. But understanding the map, you can diagnose. And then there are also ways that I teach people to diagnose, to look at what people display. A person will show you, just talk to them, they'll show you exactly where it is, right? Mm-hmm. I've had people literally point to the place in their aura. They'll say like this, I'll show you. They'll say, I don't know what's going on. I have no idea what's going on with me. I'll say, because we know subconsciously. So it's both. While we're developing our ways of seeing and feeling and sensing, there's also a map that will help us do it. And the truth is, it doesn't really, the seeing is entertaining to us and it helps us be better practitioners, better healers, but it doesn't matter, because what heals is light.
I want to get back to this in a moment, because this essential light is very intriguing. But I wanted to share with you an experience that I had, and I certainly have been believing in chakras and really looking at chakras with myself and my clients for a long time. But when I was 10 years ago, dealing with both of my parents getting basically deadly ill, all of a sudden I had this really, really strong pain in my root, in the sciatic, and I barely could walk. And I barely could fly to Germany because I was in Seattle. So I pretty much spent most of this 11-hour flight standing because it was too painful to sit. Wow. But the amazing thing was that once I was there and I was helping my dad, to get washed, to go to the bathroom, and I could help my mom a little bit in the kitchen, and I was useful, the pain completely disappeared. It was just gone, poof. Now, from your perspective, how would you interpret that?
At one aspect of the first chakra, I would give it two interpretations. One aspect of the first chakra is that it is connected to your root, to your family, to your origins, right? It is the root, right? So your family system was stirred up, right? And you worried about your parents, and also then in your own inner work, your own inner self, you're working it out, right? It seems like your parents are, if they weren't going to die then, they're headed for their last, as we would say, their last roundup. That's number one. Number two, your first chakra was pulling you home.
Didn't make it easy, but yes.
Right? It was like, no, get me back. I got to get back to Germany. I got to help. Let's go.
Right.
And so it's like a tree. You're pulling up the roots, and the roots start going like this.
Yeah.
So I think those two.
It was also for me a sense of powerlessness, and when I had a sense of at least being able to contribute, something shifted too in that moment. And I just found it fascinating, this localization, because I never had any issues before in that region. And then all of a sudden, when that family issue came up, it showed up. And I'm listening. Now tell me about the essential light, because I think that is something that it's your institute called, but it's kind of the healing vehicle that you're teaching and using.
Ultimately, what I'm teaching is people, what we call the living through the heart process. I'm teaching a process by which people can literally become oriented in their heart center. I teach something called the three groundings: grounded on earth, centered in the heart, receiving light. So we root ourselves in the body, right? There are spiritual works where you're transcending. Let's get away from the body.
Yeah.
This is not that work. We are embodied. I came to earth to be a human. Let's be a human, first of all. The center then is the heart, literally the techniques of how do I recognize, enter, and become centered in my heart, becomes the center of my life, center of my energetic life. And everybody has a tube here, goes up the back. Everybody, all humans, have an energy tube that goes up the back here. That light, universal light, gets concentrated and comes down into the vehicle. So light, what I say is light is not a metaphor. Light is a vibration. The Hindus call it Isha. It's the universal vibration that underlies all creation. What we call life force is a part of light. So it's everywhere. What I learned to do is to focus it and say, Jonathan Goldman, Ashland, Oregon, right now I'm opening myself, give me some light, and it comes. And when I'm teaching a class, I'm just teaching a 3-part class. Literally, how does one in one's own meditation become a receptor and transmitter of light? And so, and a concentration of light activates, right? Almost all illness is caused by stuckness. That's one of the principles of Oriental medicine. Almost all, not all, but almost all, 98%, is caused by something is stuck, something is holding. So let's release it. How do we release it? We put it in motion. How do we put it in motion? There's a mental concentration. There's the space of faith, which is in the heart, holds the space, and then light comes and it's an activator. So let's get it moving. Let's get everything moving, and then let's see what happens. Most of the time, what happens is the vehicle is self-correcting when given the proper opportunity, right? It's self-correcting. Like if I get it in motion, most of the time it's going to right itself because that's what it was designed to do.
And the light helps to do that.
The light does it. The light is the technology.
No, I understand. But I mean, the vehicle, you would say, is self-organizing, self-healing. So if you as a practitioner or you yourself give to this vehicle of your energy that extra boost of light that you're asking for, it basically helps then this self-healing ability just to get what it needs in order to get unstuck.
So it's like I don't know. Did you ever ride a motorcycle? You know, a motorcycle, you kickstart.
Yeah, sure.
Boom, right? Boom. It's similar. And what we learn is how to do that specifically, how to protect oneself energetically when you're doing that, because it's also very, very important. Most people are way more sensitive than we let on, right? And particularly people who come to do this kind of work are sensitive people feeling lots of things. So part of also what we teach is the space of compassion, which is right in front of the heart. You know, you asked me before to teach something. When you asked me to, that's what I'm going to teach. I'm going to teach this compassion, because it is not just for healers. It is a vital, vital, vital thing to know how to do in this present world that we're living in with so much confusion and so much chaos.
Now, what you're describing sounds also like the Reiki or Chi energy that, often healing techniques are using. Do you think it's pretty much coming from the same source, or do you think that's a different?
Yeah, my experience is what I'm teaching is Reiki plus. In other words, the consciousness of the energy map, and where specifically you're going to focus that vibration adds nuance and adds power to it. But it's the same. Yeah, light is light.
I mean, it's light acupuncture on some level. I mean, if you really merge it with what you do. Yeah.
What I like to think is, and my experience is, we're going to beyond all of these techniques to help them. For instance, I have many people come to me who have done all kinds of things, right? They've done herbs and blah, blah, blah. They've done medicine. They've gone to chiropractors, and it hasn't helped. We do this work. They go back and do exactly the same thing they did before, and now it works.
Interesting. That's good. I like that. That's kind of then where a reset happens, and then there is everything more available to other techniques.
Exactly.
Now, a big issue that so many people are dealing with is fear, anxiety, and I think you wrote something about the antidote to fear being not what we usually think of. But before that, from the whole system, what would you say the root of most fears and anxiety is?
The root, I think the root is biological. I think the root of fear is that we live in a fragile body in an environment that in ancient times had lots of danger in it. So we have fear exists, right? Fear is a warning. What happens though is because at this point, let me say it this way, I'm gonna go from a little different angle. At this moment, from my point of view, we actually have two viruses going on. We have the virus that is the physical level virus, and we have a virus of fear. We have a virus of fear, right? That is being provoked by so many forces, not only physical forces, not only media, but also by energy that is provoking fear. And so the source of it lives in us. I have fear, in ancient times, a lion was going to eat me or something, right? And I have an ego level fear, which is the fear of dissolution of the ego, right? Humans struggle with the fear of death, right? Which is a profound spiritual confrontation that everybody has to go through to confront that mystery and confront that. So we have fear exists. It's not a
no, that's for sure. But do you have a sense the fear is in a specific part of the human energy vehicle? Is there like one chakra more affected than another?
Yeah, the fear lives in the third chakra.
Okay.
In Chinese medicine, we say it lives in the kidneys, right? It lives in the third chakra. So it is fundamentally a fear of the other, a fear of the dissolution of the ego, and a fear of death. They all live there, right? What is the solution, right? There was a thing in the 70s, a guy named Jerry Jampolsky said, love and fear were opposites. From my point of view, that's not true. Love has no opposite. Love, true universal love, has no opposite because it is the base of everything. What is the antidote to fear is faith. But faith, I make a very clear distinction. Faith is not the property of religion, right? Religion should, one of the things that people who are into religion hopefully happens is they have more faith because they believe in something. But faith is an inbuilt energy in the mental body of the heart. There's right here. I'm going to show you. Get up here. Here's my heart. Here's faith right here. If you watch a video of the Dalai Lama, I love the Dalai Lama, right? Dalai Lama is a very beautiful man. And what's his job? He is the holder of compassion and faith on earth. Doesn't matter his religion. He has his religion. If you watch his hands, go see a video of the Dalai Lama. The entire time he's talking, his hands are in front of his heart in a prayer position, going between compassion, which lives right in front of the heart, and faith. He goes like this, he's talking like this the whole time. He's provoking compassion, provoking faith, provoking compassion, provoking faith. So faith tells me what? Faith says, I don't know what's going on, but somebody on some level does. And somehow this is going to work out. This is not fundamentally as bad as it seems right now. And I'm just going to keep going. That's what faith says, right? You can frame it, oh, I'm a Catholic, I'm a Buddhist, I'm a Jew. Okay. But that's not where faith is. Faith is built into your vehicle in that place. And faith is an energy, a universal energy that actually drives the universe forward. It's a vibration that dings your own faith and augments it. So when I activate my faith, it doesn't mean I have no fear, but it means the fear is not in charge.
Now, how do we activate our faith?
By breathing into it, by connecting, by visualizing. What I teach people to do is here. So you asked me.
Yes, show us exactly.
Here's how, but I'm going to teach you about faith and compassion like this. This
Okay.
is the 2-minute, and then nobody has to study with me because I taught you everything I know.
Yeah, I'm sure that's true.
So here, I'm going to tilt this down just a little bit. So your heart chakra, right? Everybody has your heart chakra. So here's what I teach people to do. You put one hand just gently right over your heart chakra. And you just give a little pressure with that hand, just a little, just to call your attention to that place in your body. What you're doing then is activating the etheric body of the heart chakra where calmness lives. The basis of all this is to find a place of calm. So I breathe and I just let myself get calm beyond the mind, just this, right? Then put my hands, I touch the heel of my hands to that place in my heart, and I stick my hands out front and I create a shelf. I'm making a shelf here, okay? Then imagine that the shelf is a dock, and you walk out on the dock to the end of the dock, where your fingers are, and you sit on the end of the dock and you put your feet in the perfect calm lake. There you go.
Like it.
Like that. You are now in the space of compassion. Literally, not metaphorically, the distance of your fingers makes a tube, makes a circle around your body. That literally is the space of compassion. That's what the Dalai Lama is showing us when this. So you sit on that dock, and that's your space of compassion. Compassion is the space where we hold everything neutrally. In compassion, I'm present, but I'm neutral.
Right.
Right? Now, take your hands and put the heel of your hand where your fingers are. In other words, I've gone 50%. Now I go like this. Okay? Now, where your fingers are is faith. That's where faith lives, in you, in me, in everybody. So how do I activate it? What I do is I close my eyes. I put my attention, right? I put myself there, however you do it, right? Some people do it by visualizing. Some people do it by breathing. However you do it. Just put yourself, your awareness on that discrete place. Breathe and just sit there and be in faith. And you feel it, right? You could feel it. I could feel it. I feel it. It's really simple, you know. It's what I teach people. If it's complicated, it's because we need to entertain our minds.
I agree with that. Yes.
Spirituality healing is very simple. It's very simple because it's vibrational. So what I'm doing is activating, and then over time, right? So you do it 1 time, 2 times, 3 times, 5 times, 10 times, 100 times, 1,000 times. You're activating it in you, and it becomes your referent. You see? So yesterday, I had a thing. I did my meditation, and I'm getting ready, and I have to work all day. So I'm like, okay, now I have to go and have breakfast, and I walk out, and my wife says to me, she wanted me to do something for her, but it was actually for me. She was doing something for me, but it was interrupting my, and I stopped, I breathed, and I was like, wait a minute, wait. This person is doing something out of love for me. It doesn't matter what my idea was. So I was like, yeah, thank you, my love. And we did it. That's just a little example, because I had activated that place in me. So rather than my mind's control of what was supposed to be, I was available to a whole nother level of intuition, which is the point, because the voice of the heart is intuition.
Now, wouldn't it be great if we could always be that available to life in general, not just to our partners? And I think that's a wonderful way of ending our nice little conversation, to know that faith and compassion are always available to us. And when we actually live from that place and live from the heart, everything changes and everything is much more in a flow and much more guided than when we are coming probably only from our third chakra and trying to project our will into the world. Exactly.
And I feel like this is where we're going. And to do that, to take the steps, right? I have a 10-week series it's on our website, essentiallight.org, that teaches this step by step. And
essentiallight.org. Essentiallight.org.
One word, essential light, 2 L's in the middle, lowercase, essentiallight.org.
That's how they can find you. That's how we can read your or get, more information about your classes, your courses, your book, and so on.
Yes.
And the 10-week classes was, sorry, I interrupted you.
It was a 10-week class that I recorded last year, just at this time. It's a 10-week series, 10 sessions, an hour and a half each, that take a person through this technique. Like the training is to, how do you open yourself? What are the 3 groundings? What are these layers of the heart? Takes it step by step. And it works, because I've had the feedback from people that, they do it and Beautiful. Their life is enhanced.
Well, I feel it working already. So thank you so much for being there and for your teachings. And I wish you a wonderful rest of the day. I hope it's going to flow as it has started today.
It has been a great, great pleasure to be with you. I appreciate your light a lot.
Oh, thank you so much. That's mutual. Goodbye.
See you later.
Hi, Dr. Friedemann here. Thank you for tuning into my YouTube channel. If you're interested in learning more about fear and anxiety, here you'll find guided meditations, webinars, and interviews with some of the most renowned experts in the field of empowerment. Delve into the over 230 videos and more to come every week.